So, hi guys, welcome back to this week's Footy Friday. And in this week's episode, we are going to talk about the weekend's football, the weekend's Premier League, and then look at the Premier League, FIFA Premier League team this season, and see who we would change or who we agree with on the team this season. And then we'll also talk about the Champions League because obviously it's getting down to the final time now. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into the game. So you have Southampton versus Leicester on Friday.
Yep.
Southampton drew with Leicester 1-1.
Yeah, I watched that game. It was fairly entertaining considering there was only 2 goals. I mean, Leicester got lucky with the sending off, which was obviously never a sending off. I don't know why VAR again made the wrong decision, chose to ignore it. But you know, that's VAR for your inconsistency. But yeah, who scored for Leicester?
Johnny Evans.
Oh yeah. I say I watched it. I watched the first half, so that was a lie. Yeah, Southampton it's been a rocky season for Southampton. They had the good spell, then the really bad spell, and now it's sort of leveled off into wins, losses, draws, and things. Where are they in the league? They're just above relegation, aren't they? 15th.
Yeah.
They can count it successful-ish. They've got. It's definitely not their ceiling. Like they've definitely got more potential, and I definitely feel like next season they can maybe push just slightly higher than mid-table, maybe 9th, 10th, around that sort of area. But it's been a rocky road for them this season. But 37 points, they're safe from relegation. You know, next season I can think they'll probably finish on something like 50, which would get them around 9th or 10th. So, yeah, bit of a bad season, but something to work on for next year.
Yeah, like you said, I don't think that. Obviously, this season, the highs and lows of this season, because obviously they were right up there early on in the season. You know, I think they were top of the league at Christmas, were they?
They were top of the league for a little while.
Well, yeah, a little while. So you know, to come back down the pecking order, you know, it was expected, but you know, it's never good to see.
You could even sort of say recently Leicester have had a bit of a rocky road. I know they're in the FA Cup final, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're in the FA Cup final against Chelsea, which I mean that's a tasty final. I mean, I'm glad City weren't in it because I just wanted to see a bit of competition. But yeah, they've not been too convincing since I've been watching them in the recent weeks. I know they're third, but they were third quite convincingly for a while, and now there's 3 or 4 teams that you know could catch them. It's lucky that Chelsea haven't done the best. West Ham, Tottenham, Liverpool haven't done the best because if Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, and Arsenal had all been on top form, Leicester might not have even been in Europe. So they can be thankful. Like their recent form, their last 5 games, 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw, which isn't good for being third. They should be winning at least 3 or 4 of them games.
Yeah, because I'm looking at those around them, and you've got Chelsea have won have won 3 out of 5. West Ham won 3 out of 5. Liverpool won 3 out of 5. You know,
United 4 out of 5.
So you know they picked up wins, but not enough recently.
They don't look as convincing as they have over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's it completely. I completely agree. But no matter what, Brendan Rodgers is doing a great job. No matter what, where they finish,
he's doing a great job. But I see a little bit stagnation in the team. Like often you'd see over the last couple of years, lots and lots of players being brought through, but some of the players that they're bringing through, like Luke Thomas is okay, but I don't think he's a great replacement for Chilwell. The 3 centre-backs you've got sorted because, you know, when Johnny Evans retires or leaves somewhere else or something to end his career, they can go to a 4 at the back. You got right back, you got Justin. The midfield is pretty compact, pretty nice. And then up front, that's where it worries me, because you have got Iosi Perez, who can play wide or he can play central, like he's shown at Newcastle, but I think he's better on the right. You've got Iheanacho that's finding his form, but I mean, he's been in the Premier League for 4 or 5 years and he's never been consistent with it. Jamie Vardy eventually is going to have to retire. I know he's 34 or whatever he is now, 33. So give it another 2 years, he'll probably retire. And I don't think Iheanacho's the one. And I feel like City are a City, like they're the City of the league. Leicester are I think they're gonna slowly derail in form. I think they'll be lucky next season if they can finish in Europe. I think they'll struggle for Europe next season, to be honest. Especially with Champions League. They'll have Champions League next season. You know, they'll probably go far in cups, and people are going to expect them to be in contention for top 4 again. And I think it's going to be too overwhelming. And I think they're going to finish, 6th or 7th. I don't think it will be too unlikely we see them in them sorts of spots.
Yeah, like you said, if we'll talk. If they end up falling off, like you said, we'll get Europe next year. And when you've got teams like, especially if West Ham keep the form they're on, I know they're in Europe as well, but if you look at some of them and think there's some teams that are going to be coming in on good form.
It almost hurts teams like Leicester to be in Europe, because their main focus is to obviously they want to be in Europe and they want to do well in Europe, but there's no expectation there, where there is sort of an expectation in the Premier League. They need to be, they're pretty satisfied the last, 3, 4, 5 years, however long it's been since they won the Prem. Since they've been in that sort of 4 area, but realistically they should be pushing Man United a little bit more. But I don't know. I think, like I said, I think it hinders them more than it helps them. And I think the players, we've spoken about it before, the depth in that squad isn't big, and they're going to struggle next season with the sheer amount of games they've got to play, because they're going to have to play 60 plus games.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they haven't got the depth behind them.
No. A team that definitely is showing a depth is City, because they beat Crystal Palace 2-0 at the weekend. They made, how many changes did they make? They made like 7 changes or something, weren't it?
Who, City?
Yeah.
What do you mean changes? What, subs?
No, just from the usual team.
Oh, right,
they don't really.
Right.
Obviously, it's like Ake was playing, Torres was playing, Jesus was playing, Aguero was playing.
Yeah, Aguero played as centre forward to Jesus and actually scored, a goal. Yes, it was not the usual team you used to seeing. Torres, doesn't usually play. Ake, despite having that big price tag, doesn't really play. Aguero hasn't played much this season. It's expected. You expect City to beat the smaller teams like Palace. Perhaps maybe a little bit of a shock it wasn't more, but 2-0 doesn't really matter. They've won the league anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
No. Again, Aguero showing what what they're going to be missing out on, and what the new club will be getting from him, because he looked like a player that had played in every game this season. He looked incredible.
But I think would that not be down to him not playing as many games? So, he could be a bit more sharp.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it goes both ways.
It'd be interesting to see where he goes next season.
I think it'll be Argentina.
I still think it's a bit early for that. I think he could go back to Atleti. I think it'd be a good move for him. I don't think they've got Diego Costa anymore, have they? I know they've got Luis Suarez. They've got João Felix. He'd be a bloody good option.
Or then does he go to Barcelona? Because I know Barcelona are looking for a striker.
They'd be stupid to go for another aging player. They already did it with Griezmann. They've done it with Pjanic. Not Pjanic. They've done it with...
with Pjanic.
Griezmann. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, they have done it with Pjanic. Pjanic, Griezmann.
Quite a lot of them.
I feel like there was another one I'm missing. But their recent signings, not including their youth team prospects, their signings, they've been aging players that are probably 2 or 3 years out of their peak. And although Aguero still is a good player, I don't think he's going to be the person to sort that out. I think he needs to go to a team that where he isn't expected to do much and surprise people, like Suarez did at Atleti. No one expected him to really do well and sort of expected him to sort of fall off the map a little bit. And he went there and hit the heights. And I think that's what Aguero needs to do. He needs to go to, I think not France. Realistically, it's probably going to be Spain. If it is a top 5, Spain or Italy, yeah. And I think you could see him going to maybe, Inter Milan, AC Milan. Probably not Inter because they've got Lukaku and Martinez. But say if one of them move, say if Martinez goes to Barcelona or Martinez goes to City, Aguero's an older version of Martinez.
Yeah.
He could come in he could come in there for a year and a half, 2 years, and probably a year and a half until they find that long-term replacement again.
Yeah, that is true. I know. One player who has, I know I keep going, these segues are just falling perfect. One player that has been dubbed as a replacement, well, not a replacement, surplus to requirements. Danny Welbeck got on the score sheet for Brighton against Leeds, beating 2-0.
I didn't know where that was going then. I was looking at the score sheets thinking, who's he going to talk about?
Yeah, me neither.
All right, fair enough.
Right, let's start. One thing I want to start with is Danny Welbeck's goal. It was a great goal, cracking. Oh my god, it was so. You always think about Danny. I know Danny Welbeck has scored goals, but you don't really associate him with the goals he scored, especially that one as well. You don't associate with the goal he scored against Leeds. Up in the air, takes it on the turn with his weak foot to then guide it past the keeper.
Well, the two things I associate with Danny Welbeck is underachieving and injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when he was at United, he did okay. His couple of loan spells out did well. He came back from those loan spells and looked like a different man. Obviously, he did it most games for England, but when he went to Arsenal, sort of slowed down a little bit, and now he's at Brighton from Watford. I don't know. He's sort of a forgetful player. I know he scores the odd good goal, but he should be better. He should be more well known than he is and have more of a stature in football than he does.
Yeah, it's like we've mentioned with Wilshere. It's
a big comparison.
His potential was never really reached because of the injuries and things like that, which meant that right now he's not really in the lights as he should be.
I don't think he's as fallen off the map as Wilshere did. I think Wilshere sort of, people refer to that game against Barcelona and then can't name another game where he played well. Whereas with Welbeck, go on, sorry.
I wasn't exactly, it was a similar. Yeah.
He hasn't lived up to his initial impact on the Premier League and has only ever gone downhill because, playing for the champions, then going to Arsenal is a massive downgrade. And then going to Watford. Then going to Watford and Brighton. Yeah, sorry, go on.
But yeah, overall, they played well. He got the penalty as well. I don't know what Alioski was doing. He was grabbing hold of him. Grabbing hold of his legs.
I think that's lack of experience. He's 21?
Yeah. Yeah, it just seemed a bit weird. It was odd. It was all right, okay. Another team that won 2-0, I know, great segues, was Chelsea against Fulham.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz getting 2 goals.
Yeah, pretty convincing win. It's good to see Havertz. As much as I don't want Chelsea to do well, I do like Havertz, and I do like Mason Mount as well. That first goal where he took the ball down and chipped it through to him.
Oh my
Not chipped it,
God.
just passed it. It was ridiculous. People put respect on Phil Foden's name, but not a lot of people put respect on Mason Mount's name. I think Mason Mount has more of an impact on Chelsea than Foden does at City. I think Foden's got a higher ceiling because he's a few years younger. But I think in terms of impact and in terms of future of the club, I think Foden won't be. I don't think Foden ever will be the captain of City. Whereas I think Mason Mount, give it next season, he'll be, or 2 years or so, he'll be captain of Chelsea. I think Foden, give it 2 years, he won't be at City anymore. I think he will probably move to the likes of Real Madrid or possibly PSG, but I think Real Madrid seems like the only likely destination for up-and-coming youngsters at the moment. Mason Mount. I mean, I was so set on Jack Grealish before when people said Jack Grealish, Mason Mount, or Phil Foden. But, I mean, Mason Mount's putting in such a good case. At the start of the season, I was thinking he ain't doing nothing, but he's impressed me really well. Like we talked about last week with Phil Foden in terms of, like, rising stars. Mason Mount looks ridiculous.
Yeah. I know, like you said, when that over the top, ball comes over the top, he has the time, the awareness, and the skill to just touch it down and then make the pass.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, to watch it, you were just there like, you just, chef's kiss. It was great. And then overall, the Chelsea played very well. They could have got a few more goals because they had one disallowed, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, not bad.
No, not so. Good, convincing win. And that pretty much, I think, sends Fulham down, doesn't it? Not statistically, but pretty much.
Yeah. Then moving on to the last game on that Saturday was Everton versus Aston Villa. I
think I only watched 2 games over the weekend, so I didn't see this one. But yeah,
Watkins with a goal. Just shows you what I know we know now, but you definitely can tell it's not just for the Championship.
No.
But it's complete striker's instinct getting on the back because on a defensive error by Mason Holgate, taking too much time, rushing him, and then able to win the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows you exactly what he can do.
Yeah.
And then it was an interesting game. Like the corner to get Calvert-Lewin's goal. I think how many goals he got this season, for the
14,
Premier League?
I think.
15?
14, I think.
15.
All right, never mind.
15 goals this season in the Premier League.
I haven't got your face up, so I was just
Right.
thought you misheard me. I didn't realise you were reading it.
No. And then Anwar, is it Anwar El Ghazi? Anwar El Ghazi, that's it. Getting the goal, getting the last goal. Again, it's a good goal. Just takes the nice touch, curls it in. Just effortless. Made it look effortless anyway.
He's like the budget Mahrez.
But overall, Villa haven't had too bad of a season. They were hitting again. It's not as least I know. I'm about to say it's not as bad as Southampton, but when they hit the highs of beating Liverpool 7-2, they had quite a good run. Yeah, exactly. They peaked quite early on. But I would say that mid-table for them is great for now.
Yeah. I think mid-table's fine for them. They can build on it for next season. Hello?
Yeah, you cut out as you said. C. You said C.
I said Villa. It's good for them to finish mid-table. Second class. He's not him.
Just you a slight breakup. I kind of guessed that you said it was happy. It was good. It's good for Villa to finish mid-table so they can build on it next season.
Yes.
A team that's again fighting for the mid-table spots. Arsenal beating Newcastle 2-0.
I mean, Arsenal again so underwhelming this season. None of their players look particularly appetising to other teams. Like usually, you can pick off players from different teams, but you know their big stars are probably their youngsters, and even then, you don't know what to expect when you bring them into another team. I think a lot of them play away because the atmosphere at Arsenal and the attitudes at Arsenal, I think, stink. When you see them play, it's boring to watch. When they get off luck, and the players that have got a team should be in the top 2 or 3. You got Aubameyang, that was Champions League final. Well, I'm not sure if he was for Dortmund. No, he wasn't. Never mind. But he was in the Champions League. You know, a big star. You've got Lacazette, that at one time was one of the biggest French prospects ever. But now they're just terrible, and I can't be bothered to watch them.
Second of that. Because I can't remember who said it. I can't remember who said it, but I think I saw it on Twitter. That someone said that the Arsenal's best performing player plays at Newcastle.
It's true. He scored 3 goals this season since being something like that. 2 goals this season. But what Arsenal will do now is that they'll see that. Well, I say what Arsenal will do. What Kroenke will do is he won't sign anyone because he'll be like, oh, well, you got Willock now, so you can put him in midfield. And he'll come back next season. They'll probably put him in midfield and he'll do nothing because that's not his level. His level is not Arsenal. His level is below.
Yeah.
They don't understand that. They seem to think that just because you put young players in, it'll work. They need to be good. Then, Arsenal they have big names, but they're not doing well. Lacazette has been such a bad signing for him. Aubameyang's worked. Lacazette hasn't. Ødegaard has been hit and miss this season. I think if they sign him long term, it will work out. You look at Dani Ceballos, been iffy. You look at Xhaka, God knows. You look at Partey. What am I about? Partey. He's been a bit underwhelming. It seems like any time someone goes to Arsenal, it just sucks the life out of them. Like Partey at Atletico Madrid looked unreal. He was linked with big moves, and he joined Arsenal, and now no one cares about him. The same with Ødegaard. I'm sure Ødegaard won't want to stay there next season. It just seems everyone that goes there just gets the passion and desire sucked out of them.
Yeah, it just seems a very negative football club. I know Arteta doesn't want to play like that, but it just like you said, I have a feeling that in the dressing room it's not like people. I don't. Obviously, it probably isn't, but it just seems like they don't talk to each other. They keep everything. Everyone's got their headphones on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think now Arsenal are sticking with Arteta. They will hopefully. Well, I say hopefully, but it might even happen. They will start to build on what they've had.
You say that, like, I think Arsenal fans seem to think there's going to be a bright future. I don't see a bright future for Arsenal. Who wants to go to Arsenal now? Teams would rather go. I mean, Arsenal was Arsenal was in Chelsea's position 5 years ago. You got City, United, Leicester, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, Everton, maybe even Villa. A top player there's probably 3 or 4 teams. You got City, United, Chelsea, and Liverpool that a top player would want to go to, and then you're thinking about Leicester, West Ham, Tottenham, Everton, and Arsenal. They're not even in that conversation anymore. A big player's isn't want to go in to come. There's a reason why they're going to be in Tottenham's position. There's a reason why they've gone from Kane to Vinicius. I was about to say Vinicius Junior. Vinicius. They got Bergwijn. They got Moura. They got the players outside of the world's elite. They got the great players, not the world class players. And that's what Arsenal are going to have to do. Arsenal expect that they're going to get, the likes of Ødegaard and all these players, but Ødegaard's using them as a stepping stone. He wasn't getting the time at Madrid. He's using Arsenal to try and get some good statistics, get a good amount of assists and passes or whatever, and then go into the Real Madrid team. And if he can't, get a bigger move away. If he can't get into that Real Madrid team next season, he's not going to go back to Arsenal, because why does he want to finish mid-table? He could go to Leicester. He could go to Chelsea.
Yeah. You could see it with West Ham.
Well, they're a more attractive club at the minute. I mean, you put down a bad season to Tottenham, Liverpool, Wolves, but Arsenal haven't had a bad season. This is what they do. This is their level now. That's it. They can't expect anything because they're not good enough anymore. They have been the 9th best team in the league, and they have.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a while. It'll be a while before they get to the heights of 2003.
Well, yeah, but look at that compared to now, where they are.
Yeah.
Imagine telling Arsene Wenger in 2003, 18 years later, you're going to finish 9th in the league.
Yeah.
He wouldn't believe you.
Well, he'd have gone, I bet you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because he thought he would have still been managing.
Yeah, that's true.
A team that did get rid of the manager last week, Tottenham, beating Sheffield United 4-0. Obviously, Sheffield United. Could have been 5, but never mind. Gareth Bale hat-trick.
I left before that game ended. I know Sheffield United are relegated, but that has got to be one of the worst performances I've ever seen in the Premier League. They were horrible. It was like a pub team. They were terrible. I don't know how. I mean, the only good thing to come out of them this season is probably David McGoldrick. And it's not like he's got a future ahead of him because he's like 33.
Yeah.
He scored, I think, 7 goals this season. Last season, he scored fucking 2. He scored 9. I looked it up when he was playing that game. He scored 9 goals in 59 Premier League appearances. How? How does a striker score 9 goals in almost 60 Premier League games? It's impossible. How do they do it? But he's their top goal scorer. He's their top goal scorer this season with 7. That just says something. Maybe Berg could come out of it looking okay. Maybe he might get a new club. But there isn't an attractive player in that team. You've got West Brom and Fulham, and a lot of that Fulham lot are probably going to be in the Premier League next season, and a handful of them West Brom lads. But the Sheffield United, Berg's lucky to get a move. But then who is there? Ramsdale, maybe, but he's looked poor this season.
Yeah, it's like Brewster, for example, being Sheffield United's record signing, 20-odd million, were it? 24 million?
Who was that? Berg.
Brewster.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. I forgot about him. Oh, my God.
Was it 24 million?
Yeah, Liverpool pull off fucking... I don't know who they're scamming with. Jordan Ibe, not Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Solanke, all these players. They just must say, oh, he's the best player in the world, and people just must believe him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it was 24.5 million.
But I don't get why teams do that. They do it off of the ceiling, like where their future's going. don't do that because you're just going to get burned.
Yeah, well, I'm looking here now. He cost them 24.5 million or around there, I would presume, at the start of the season. What do you reckon his value is now?
So what did they sell him for? 20 what?
20. I think it was 24.5.
12.
4.5 million.
Oof. I mean, best case scenario for him next season is that he stays there and, you know, he does really well in the Championship. He scores, say, next season he scores 12 to 15 goals in the Championship. I mean, Ryan Brewster's a Championship level player. He's not a Premier League level player.
Yeah, he's seen several times. You know, he was at Swansea the season before, did pretty well.
Yeah.
Because, Championship, played 20 games last season, 19 of them were starting, 10 goals. You know, he had quite a few.
Yeah.
So, you know, he has got experience at that level.
Players need to realise that they need proper footballing time and need to actually play the game rather than just being shot straight into the Premier League, because it is a different calibre. That's why you see so many players doing well in the Championship and it not translate well to the Premier League. There's nothing wrong with being a Championship player. I know you want to get on the main stage and you want to do really well, but you're going to earn good money in the Championship.
Well,
and you'll look really good.
Well, look at Ivan Toney.
My point.
You know, he's Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, I mean, Morpie less of an extent, but when he first came to the Premier League, he looked good. I mean, it hasn't translated so well for the likes of players like sort of Billy Sharp, Jordan Rhodes, who, you know, are more championship level. I think Ivan Toney, when he comes to the Premier League, which if he doesn't get promoted with Brentford this season, he might stay there one more season, but then within the next 2 years, he'll be in the Premier League, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see him setting the world alight. I can see him being ruthless. He's tall, he's strong, he's fast, and not many players, other than perhaps Haaland, as a striker, have that. You don't often see big, powerful strikers being fast. And, you know, Ivan Toney looks like he could do it. I could see him not going to an elite level club, but, you know, maybe a Leeds, a Villa, if the circumstance needed it. Maybe even West Ham, because I know that they always struggle for a striker, and I feel like he could come in and score. I don't think he'll score bags of goals, but I think, again, like we said with Ryan Brewster in the Championship, maybe 12, 13, which is, you know, half decent.
Well, yeah, because you'll more with places like with a club like West Ham, you'll have goals from elsewhere, from everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. He shouldn't go back to a team. He shouldn't go back to Newcastle because that's where he came from. He shouldn't go to maybe Southampton, maybe. But he shouldn't. I don't think he should go to Palace or Newcastle, because I feel like they're the two that will probably be interested in him. And they're the teams, like you said, that don't offer much else going forward other than the striker. Whereas teams like Leeds, like Villa, even like Southampton, they offer a bit more, they offer more than just the strikers.
Yeah, because if you look at Newcastle, Dwight Gale, Joelinton, Almiron. I mean, for starters, he's playing Joelinton out on the wing. He's not even playing him as a striker. I don't know what is going through Steve Bruce's head.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just, like you said, I think it's best for him to go to a team that doesn't rely on the striker to get the goals.
Yeah, exactly.
And then moving on to Monday's games quickly. They called it the Black Country Derby. It was West Brom versus Wolves, 1-1. I mean, it was.
I enjoyed the game.
It was a good game. I mean, from what you could see of it anyway, because of the weather.
Yeah, that's true. It was horrible. I was rooting West Brom the entire time. I wanted them to stay up, keep Allardyce's, his record, keep it good. But I mean, Wolves got lucky with the goal, with the deflection. Again, West Brom just looked slow, and they looked like they weren't playing like a team that was trying to avoid relegation. They weren't throwing everything at it. They were sloppy. They were slow. The cross to Diagne, for the header, it was simple. Like, I don't know why they couldn't just do that. They weren't putting crosses into the box often enough, and that's what he's there for. The goal was good, but again, it's not enough. It would have been exciting to have sort of the last week of teams fighting it out, but Newcastle were pretty much safe, to be honest.
I know, like we said with Fulham, they're not mathematically relegated, but in reality, with some of the games coming up, who've they got coming up? They got Arsenal next.
Well, there's 3 points.
Arsenal, Liverpool, West Ham, and Leeds are West Brom's last games.
All right.
So I think that's the nails in the coffin.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then moving on to the final game of the weekend. Well, we'll talk about the final game in a minute. Burnley versus West Ham. 2-1 West Ham.
Yeah.
They reacted very well to going a goal behind West Ham. Said Benrahma played really well in the first half hour.
I thought you said Berahino. I don't know why. When you said that, his face just popped into my head.
Yeah, Said Benrahma. He played well for the first half hour. Right, he was the outstanding player the first half hour, and then then everyone came into their own, feeding off him for the rest of it. Not much really to say. It was was pretty much a typical West Ham performance. I know it wasn't ideal going behind, but for him to come back, it's exactly what I expect from West Ham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've looked ruthless and capitalising on mistakes and just looking really good going forward. And they did it again, to be honest, didn't they?
Yeah. So I mentioned just a minute ago about the final game of the weekend. The only game that wasn't played on the weekend was the big game of the weekend, Manchester United versus Liverpool. It was called off due to protests outside the stadium. However, then some protesters managed to get inside Old Trafford and were on the pitch and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on it?
I mean, it's a good thing for United. It just showed the owners that fans ain't going to settle for this shit. They want them out, and they're going to, they said it was a peaceful protest. I mean, some ways it was, but in other ways, it could be seen as violent just because of, whatever. But I mean, they didn't really do anything wrong. Like, it's the stadium of the fans and all that. But I mean, it wasn't too shocking. Like, I know that other teams have been protesting outside of the stadium, and again, the security. You can't blame the fans for breaking in. They shouldn't even have had the opportunity to break in. It's Man United, and you don't have enough security to hold back. What was there? 100 fans.
I think it was
the security.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual fans that broke in, there was hundreds outside, but there might have been, I don't know, 50 to 100 that actually went on the pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. It was a bit. Yeah, like you said, it was a bit like, well, surely you could stop them.
That's what I thought. Like, the Glazers want to now, we'll try and aim to look vulnerable and all this, but some metal gates and a couple of old fat middle-aged men ain't going to stop 100 people from running into the stadium and walking over the pitch. It doesn't make any sense, but
yeah,
they want to look like, oh no, look what the fans did, but you should have prevention there anyway. I'm sure every other club has prevention in that sort of way.
I bet you the securities that get. Have you seen the video of the guy doing the frisk search?
You know, like,
Yeah.
Doesn't even touch the people.
Yeah. I bet you that was what the security was like.
Mm. And you see the picture of the guy with the cut on his face. That's all over everywhere. That's one instance. One instance that one idiot did. I mean, everyone else was peaceful. It's ridiculous. They want to focus on that one thing and say, oh, you know, football fans are dangerous. Man United fans are dangerous. It's bigger than that. It's not about being dangerous. You know, 99.9% of Man United fans are calm and rational and just want the fucking Glazers out of the club like me. They want to challenge again. They want to have money put into the club and stay into the club rather than just being taken out every year. And, you know, the stadium I heard's getting worse. The seats are getting all bad and the wood's getting bad and all this. Like, they're lucky that our youth system's so good so that we can sell players.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't have that, we'd be struggling for money. If we weren't a top team, it would, you know, if we weren't winning things, it would be hard to not be going downhill quickly.
Well, yeah, because it's a similar. I know. Real Madrid, for example, are in a lot of debt right now, and that's the reason why the Super League was created, to try and minimalise the debt. But if United didn't have, like you said, the youth system and things like that, and the success of, say, Sir Alex Ferguson in the, you know, early, they wouldn't be in the position.
Did you see the Chelsea score?
Yeah, it's 1-0 at the moment, isn't it?
2-0.
Yeah.
Werner.
You know, I think, like you said, United have got a good model going forward.
Yeah, not a lot of teams in the Premier League have that sort of model where they're so heavily reliant on youth players coming through. And like I said, if it didn't work as well as it has over the last, you know, ages, like 50 years, 60 years, you know, the Glazers would be in a very bad financial situation more than they are now. You know, it looks positive for United and United fans with what they've done, but it doesn't look very good for Glazers. And if the Glazers were smart about it, you should not own a club that don't want you there. This is, you know, I mean, there's been loads of hints to the Glazers to get out. This is the biggest one. Get out now whilst you still can, because if you think walking on the pitch is a big thing, that ain't nothing. People are doing peaceful protests now, but you know, if fans can get a hold of you in, you know, a year's time and you're still there, it's going to get 10 times worse. And you don't want to, you know, fans are big in numbers and aren't scared in numbers, so they'll do whatever they want. So
yeah,
that's my warning to Joel Glazer: get out of the club. Otherwise, I'm coming for you.
I'd be scared if I were you.
Exactly.
Big Declan.
The big D's coming from you from behind.
So from one side of Manchester to the other, blue side, City beating PSG in the Champions League to set themselves up with a final with a possibly Chelsea as it stands at the moment.
Pretty underwhelming final, if you ask me. I don't know whether that's just because, you know, I only really watch the Premier League, so an all-English final just seems like another Premier League game. But whenever City are in a final, I automatically just go, because it's just so boring. You go in there with the attitude of, well, I know who's lifting the trophy. I know, you know, Chelsea have beaten them before if they do make the final and stuff like that, but I feel like Chelsea will just capitulate. It'll be too big for them, and City will just do what they do always, you know, score a goal, score 2 goals, hold it out, and it'll be sort of like last season with Bayern Munich and PSG. You just thought, before the game, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be great. You know, there's going to be 3, 4, 5 goals, and it ends up being a 1-0. And you just think, oh, God. You know, I wouldn't have minded someone like, I don't know, Dortmund versus Madrid. I think that could have been a bloody good game. Or, I don't know, Well, I think that could be a pretty good game if that took place, because it's two sort of outside teams, going for it. It's nice when two strong teams fight or two outside teams fight. It's boring when you get City versus Chelsea, or Bayern Munich versus Chelsea, if that was going to happen. You want to see something interesting. You don't want to just see some boring game.
Yeah, I didn't mean. Hopefully, they'll prove you wrong, and it will be an interesting game.
Well, if it is City Chelsea, I'm backing Chelsea, just like I did in the 2012 final. Come on, lads.
I think it'll be interesting. I think for me, I know, I know what you said. Chelsea beaten City before, but this is on a whole new level for City. They've never been this within touching distance of the trophy.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, if City win this, what else? It's like football completed it, mate. What else is there for them to do? Europa League,
the Super Cup.
Oh yeah, but who cares about
that? Club World Cup.
Oh, they'll face some team in Brazil or China or something. They'll face some, like Liverpool did last season when they faced, who was it, Santos or someone?
Flamengo.
Who cares? They don't. It doesn't matter. No one actually takes that game seriously. If you win the Champions League, 9 times out of 10, you won the Super Cup and the Club World Cup. So
yeah, I think it's football completed, because they've won every trophy that they can do. Pep's won every trophy he can win in England, obviously, with City.
Except the Europa League. Next season, they intentionally play bad to get into the Europa League and win it.
Imagine if they actually did that.
And then that is completed.
Yeah.
Wait, has he won the Community Shield?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, he's won it. Because they made a big deal out of it when they won the league last time.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was like they won the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Community Shield.
Right.
The season when they won the league before Liverpool, because it was like the formidables.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Because they counted the Community Shield as a trophy.
To be fair, Mourinho did that when United won the treble.
Oh God!
When they won the Europa League, he was getting everyone to put up their 3 fingers like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I swear they've only won 2. And it was like, oh yeah, they won the Community Shield against Leicester.
Have you seen? Because you mentioned Mourinho now. Mourinho on Instagram is some completely different. Oh my God, he's on smoke.
Didn't he upload that collage of him?
Yeah, winning the I'll just show you some of the stuff he's posted. We'll start.
Yeah, someone said he posted his CV on Insta, and within a day he's got a job.
Yeah, honestly, he is such a. I don't know how. He's so unintentionally funny, because he's just posting. Because it's like I think
going in. I think he should have gone into punditry. I think it would have been brilliant.
Yeah,
I think ultimately that probably is his thing.
Yeah,
but I think Tottenham was a good way to end it.
Yeah, well, he's going to Roma now, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what he posts on Instagram. There's the anniversary of Gerrard.
Yeah, when he slips.
Yeah. When he was at Inter Milan, when he was with Barcelona. just some of the stuff he posts.
It's like a CV, isn't it?
Yeah, just some of the stuff he posts. It's like this one. Stamford Bridge, April 30th, 2005. Sorry, guys, I couldn't find a family picture. Don't be jealous. Diddy, Ricky, Paolo, William, Maka, Joe, and so many others. Great family. It was easy to win it.
Wow.
Yeah, he was just the way he's, Stamford Bridge 2015, May the 3rd, celebrating the 3rd.
Notice how they're not recent.
Yeah, he really couldn't give a two shits, could he?
No, he doesn't care.
And to be honest with you, that's great.
Yeah. Good for him.
But some of the best posts that I saw were when he was in the Champions League. This one is my favourite. When he was like, "Oh, bad performance. See everyone at 11 o'clock."
Yeah, he doesn't care, does he?
Yeah. Yeah, he was just on it. He just wanted the smoke.
What's the smoke?
So moving away from Jose Mourinho, there was a slight tangent there to the Premier League, the FIFA Ultimate Team Premier League Team of the Season. So we'll start in goal. Edison of Man City. Then we have left back Luke Shaw, centre back partnership of Ruben Diaz and Fofana. Right back is João Cancelo. Well, bear in mind there are 15. Did you say?
There's 15.
Yeah, so all the people I'm going to read out aren't going to everyone. Not everyone's going to be playing. So you've got in the midfield, centre mid of Kevin De Bruyne, centre mid of Ilkay Gundogan, centre mid of Mason Mount, left mid of Marcus Rashford, CDM of Thomas Souček, and attacking midfielder of Bruno Fernandes. Then up front, you've got striker of Harry Kane, striker of Vardy, left wing of Son, and right wing of Salah. Now, I want to know your thoughts on it.
I think mostly it's good. I think, especially with Team of the Season, FIFA don't tend to put in players who actually deserve it because they're not often high enough rated, and people won't buy packs to actually pack them. Hence why the lowest rated is 89, and hence why players are in there that probably shouldn't be. The likes of Heung-min Son, and I don't think they don't deserve to be in it, but I think if you're looking at as there's better choices from an objective point of view rather than just a marketing point of view to put the best players in there so people can pack
them. The one that gets me is Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, I think before the injury he did well. But I think that's more of a case, obviously, for Iheanacho. But then you've gone from putting a 94 rated striker in there to a 86, maybe 87, 88.
Yeah,
and it's not as marketable to do it. I think, like I said, mostly I think they got it right. I think it's a touch with De Bruyne. I think it's a bit of an odd one to put him in. You got Salah, fair enough. You got Fernandes, obviously. Kane, fair enough. Edison, I think fair enough. I don't think any goal in the Premier League's particularly been standout this season.
Yeah,
I think it's a season where goalies have really lacked quality, and I suppose you give it to Edison because he's won the Premier League.
I would change Vardy and put in Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, what's he on FIFA? I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin's like a 79. So I think, again, that is probably a marketable thing because they used to up them like 3 or 4, but now I think they up them like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So he would have probably been like an 88 and 89 rated.
I know you said you didn't necessarily say that Son didn't deserve it, but you thought
Son he scored a lot.
Yeah, 16 goals.
It's his best scoring. It's his best season ever in terms of goals. Yeah. I know that, but I think a lot of them came at the start of the season. The same with Jamie Vardy. When he scored, it was at the start of the season. Tottenham, haven't looked good. I was although I am a United fan, I think I was struggling a bit with Rashford's inclusion. I thought that was quite an odd one.
Yeah. Who would you put there then?
What, on left mid?
Or even who would you have replaced it with? It doesn't necessarily have to be a left mid. It could be it could be it would be a midfielder. So who would you put in the midfield?
Well, I think Phil Foden's got to be in there, but then, I think Phil Foden. God, Ndidi maybe.
Yeah.
I think there's obvious players that aren't in there. I think you could have gotten rid of Rashford. Realistically, I think De Bruyne shouldn't be in there. I know he's done well, but I think you should be looking at the players in each team. Like you look at Shaw and Fernandes, best players in their team. Kane, the best player of his team. Mount, best player in his team. Salah, best player. But then you look at De Bruyne, who wasn't the best player. You look at Rashford, wasn't the best player. You look at Vardy, who wasn't the best player. You should put some other players in, even if they don't make as much sense, like, say, Lingard, or...
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, exactly, Calvert-Lewin. But again, we said it. It's because of marketing. They don't want to have low players because then people don't want to buy packs. That's why team of the season, when they pick team of the season, it's, it used to be, Dani Alves, Marcelo, Sergio Ramos, Piqué, because they're the marketable players. If you put in, I don't know, who, Valencia, say, when he was at United, he was an 82. He's probably going to be an 88, whereas Dani Alves at the time was probably going to be like a 94. It's all marketing. If this was Premier League team of the season, not FIFA team of the season, there would have been other players in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is, like you said, it's a marketing ploy because 2020, EA made $1.49 billion.
Jesus.
Obviously, that's not all from FIFA, but
yeah.
EA's net revenue from Ultimate Team in the past. Oh no, that is. So in 2020, EA's revenue topped 5.5 billion, with 2.7 of that generated from players spending money on in-game content or live services.
Mental.
So if like you said, it is just because they want to get more money.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Like from a marketing perspective, why would you put in 84s, 85s, 86s when you can make a case for, it's a good job that those players have been playing well, because if, say, the top 6 teams fell off the map, they wouldn't be making as much money.
Well, yeah, everyone would be questioning it. Like, why would I pay money if they're not playing well,
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason. I mean, you can't hate on them because they're a business, they're trying to make money, but I think, 75% of the inclusions are right. I agree with Mount, Souček, João Cancelo, Shaw, Fofana, Gundogan, Diaz, Salah, Fernandes, Kane, and maybe Edison. But De Bruyne, Son, well, maybe Son as well. De Bruyne, Rashford, and Vardy, I would, I'd debate. But I think, obviously, they've not had bad seasons, but I think there's probably better players.
Better options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because I think, like I mentioned with Jamie Vardy, I'd take him out and put Calvert-Lewin, or take someone else out and put Calvert-Lewin in, because I think he's had quite a good season for him. 15 goals, none of them have been a penalty either. So,
no,
he's played pretty well. But I think that will do us for this week's podcast. We've covered what we wanted to cover. We'll have a quick. Well, I know it's a quick score update. I know it's half time now. We'll have a quick score update for everyone before we go.
What, from me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought you were getting it up.
Yeah, it's already up. Still 1-0 to Chelsea, 2-1 on aggregate. So potentially City-Chelsea final. Whey!
At the moment.
Yeah. Underwhelming, boring.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's been us for this week. We'll see you next week for another podcast. Hopefully something interesting happens, because there's not going to be much else to talk about. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave notifications on so you're notified of every video. Comment down below anything you'd like to see on the channel. Comment down below any guests you'd like us to get on the channel. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow me on TikTok. Subscribe to my personal channel. I've got a personal channel. I'll be linking that down below as well. And I think that's it. And I know what your answer's going to be. Have you got anything to add? And there you go. That is us for this week, and we'll see you guys next week for another podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.